That's cheating. That you got used to. I'm not gonna cry and I'm telling you.
Oh no, he said the C word.
Holiday, playing a lot of cricket, online. What is Anthony Maplesden? What?
Backyard Cricket England is now in partnership with Telsa Media, a digital marketing agency with offices both at home in the UK and abroad. For all your digital business needs, call 0203 322 3098, email hello@telsamedia.com or visit www.telsamedia.com. Backyard Cricket England, now proudly sponsored by Telsa Media.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Backyard Cricket England Get to Know podcast, where we're getting to know all the members of this year's Ashes and World Cup tour in Sydney, Australia, coming up in a few months' time, and we're going to get to know all the players. And today's guest is someone you might not recognise from our domestic videos. He hasn't yet played a backyard game for us, but he was one of the first picks for selection for this tour. We're very, very excited to have him on board. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Anthony Maplesden to the podcast.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here, mate. Thank you for coming on.
I'm happy to be here, mate.
So you are the youngest member of our Ashes tour. You shaved Connor Arnold, I think, by is it a few weeks or a few months?
A few months. He's November, I think, or October, and I'm July.
Yeah, so you are coming out there pretty raw, pretty fresh. You're what, 21?
Yeah.
And presumably you'll never have done anything like this before.
No, first time.
So how are we feeling about it? It's a backyard tour, Australia, Sydney.
Obviously excited, you can't.
To play for the Ashes.
Exactly.
And a World Cup.
Exactly. But there's a bit of nerves, a little bit.
Oh, of course it's going to be. It's going to be. I think
There's a lot
fair
riding
enough,
on it,
but-
so.
Yeah, but at the same time, obviously, like we said, thrilled to have you on board and coming with us. Were you familiar with the WCG before we invited you into this trip? You already knew who they were?
A lot of TikTok stuff.
Yeah. So how much did you know? Have you watched their videos avidly or just sort of casually? Or?
A bit casually, I'd say. A bit. When it comes on TikTok, I always watch it. It's always interesting, but.
What do you make of the setup they've got there? Because it's pretty unique, isn't it? It's pretty amazing.
Imagine you had that here, someone's back garden.
Yeah, it'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
Nice strip cut. It's cut by professionals, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if the actual wicket itself, but the outfield, I think it's the outfield, is SCG turf. So it's actually from the SCG and they've had it imported over. I'm not sure if it's the actual wicket or maybe just the outfield. But they have got SCG, so we're technically playing the WCG and the SCG at the same time.
Yeah.
So what impressed you about this then? When you first saw their videos, you mentioned TikTok, and that, aside from the uniqueness of it, what are you most looking forward to in terms of the venue itself and what we're going to see and experience? What strikes you?
I think just the quality of the surface. It's probably better than any surface I've played around here. So.
Yeah, it'll be better than any of the actual pitches we play on the actual grounds, wouldn't it? Which is fantastic. So what enticed you in there? So you get the call, and obviously you've seen a bit of the WCG. Had you seen any of our channel? Were you familiar with us?
A little bit, because I've played with you a couple of times. So
yeah,
I've seen it floating about and stuff.
So you weren't a total stranger to it, but what made you think, because obviously as well, you don't know all of our players that well, you're getting to know them now as we head out there. It's quite a risk, not knowing really anybody, it's a lot of money, it's a long way to go, a lot of time off work and all this stuff. What made you want to do it? Why did you jump in and say yes?
Well, to be fair, I'm not tied down to anything yet, so I'm a bit free at the moment. It's hard to not go, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I love cricket. Going there to Australia, never been.
So it'll be your first time going to Australia full stop, which I think it is for most of us as well. I think we've got 2 who have been there before.
Yeah.
So you at the minute have just finished uni, you just graduated, and congratulations for that, just a few weeks ago. Do you want to do a little bit of gloating? Do you want to tell us what you graduated with?
Did economics at Birmingham, got a 2-1.
2-1 in economics, the man himself.
Decent stuff.
Yeah, congratulations for that, well done. So at the moment, not working at the minute, so time off work not necessarily an issue for this.
No.
So which is good news, obviously, and like you said, such an experience. How have you found it now? Because you've come into the team, you've had a couple of training sessions now, you've got to, obviously you and Connor are very, very close, but you've got to know the rest of the team a bit more.
Yeah.
How have you found that period settling in, getting to know everyone?
Quality lads.
So you've enjoyed it so far, it's been good. Obviously, any nerves coming in? You mentioned nerves about going to Australia, any nerves in meeting your own team?
Oh yeah, because you never know what I'll get myself into, but
well,
I only really know you, Ricky, and a couple others that I played a few games with or one game with
So most of us play for Woodside Green Cricket Club, and obviously you've played, I think, 1 or 2 games a couple of years back, but you didn't know everybody in this backyard team.
Yeah.
What have you made of the standard compared to what you've seen of the WCG videos? Where do you think we are as a team?
I don't think we're far off, if not thereabouts.
So you think we've got an Ashes winning side?
Well, I think we could do, yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? Who do you remember then from training? Was there anyone in particular who stood out and impressed you in the training that you've seen so far?
Ricky impressed me, you know.
Oh, don't tell him. Right, we'll cut that. No, he is a fabulous player, Rick, and obviously will be the captain. Was it him who asked you? Who brought you in?
There's a few of you that kind of have the swing on point already.
Yeah, I think Jake Butler would be the one for that. This guy swings it almost backwards.
Yeah,
he is very
Which I think I might take a bit of time getting used to.
Yeah, it does. How did you find that? Have you ever played any indoor cricket, backyard cricket? Have you ever played anything like this?
Not with a table.
Not with a taped up? So what normally like one of them little incredible things? Yeah.
That was when I was younger, but nothing.
So how have you found it with the training? Obviously you've not played a match yet, but how have you found it with the training?
Training took me a while to get. We did like a 2-hour session, didn't we?
Yeah, it was about 2 hours.
It took me about a good 10 minutes of batting to sort of figure out that you kind of need to try and read the bowler before
it's not. You can't play it the way you play club cricket.
Exactly.
It is with that swinging ball.
You kind of got to predict what's coming a bit.
So how are you feeling with it now? Are you feeling?
I feel like it's on the way up, definitely.
Yeah. So
a few more sessions, I feel like it'll be decent.
Yeah. So that's obviously the question. Then by the time this podcast goes out, we'll probably be about 2 months away from the trip. By the time this airs, we're a few months away from it now. Where do you want to be by the time we get on that plane? Have you sort of set yourself a goal of where you want your game to?
I don't know. I think for me, batting is more just keeping the ball on the floor. I think that could be my main way of getting out.
Yeah, well, obviously that's one thing that's different about this is that you've got a light net, which you don't have normal cricket. You can ping one over the top of the six. If you do that here, you're out.
And that's quite likely, I think.
Yeah, I think that'll happen to a few people on both sides. It's one of them things. You're going to pop the old one over there. But how have you found it with the ball? Because everyone knows when you take this up with a half-take ball, we play on a short pitch. Everyone knows that batting is difficult and it takes time to use.
They make it look difficult.
Yeah,
on the channel.
A few of us really make it look difficult, but we know the batting is difficult. It often doesn't get said enough that it can be. You think there's a bowler, it's easy. You'll just swing everywhere. You'll take loads of wickets.
Yeah.
But it's harder than it looks to control it. How have you found that in your sort of
the first few balls I bowled straight into the net.
Side of the net, job, yeah.
You got to sort of aim a lot further wide than you normally would with a red ball cricket ball.
Yeah, and obviously, so are you confident by the time we go there, you'll be in place with that?
Sort of every training session you figure out a bit more, don't you?
Yeah, and obviously, as we say, at the time of filming, we've got a few months till we go. There will be plenty of training between now and the flight. So are you confident you'll be Ashes ready when we get on the plane?
I reckon so, hopefully.
Fantastic. Well, let's park Australia for a minute then, and we'll come back to that. But let's go back to the start for you then. Your sort of early days in cricket. I know you've played for Merstham for a long time, which for those who don't know is a very reputable local club in Surrey, in sort of South East. You've been with them a long time. Was that your first club? When did you start playing the game?
I want to say about under 7s.
Oh, so really?
Yeah, because my dad was a big cricketer and he just got me into it straight away.
So that's how, so it's a family thing for you, so it comes from your dad. Was it one of them where like cricket's sort of always on the TV at home as well, kind of thing?
I couldn't avoid it, so.
So what are you, I'm just trying to think, you're 21, so when you were sort of 7, we're talking what, late 2000s or mid 2000s? Are we looking at?
Late 2000s, about 2009, 10.
So do you remember who your first sort of, were you the type of person who had sort of cricketing heroes as a kid, or was it more just loving a game? Did you really have like favourite players or anything?
Yeah, a few England players. Obviously Anderson's still
there, isn't he?
But the things he was doing back in the day, back in the day, but
I mean he's still doing it. I think maybe not so much this year, but
Alistair Cook as well.
Cookie, Were you been the captain, or were you young enough? Are you just about old enough to remember Strauss as captain?
Probably Strauss,
So, is there anyone in that team, or more recently in cricket, is there anyone are you the type of person who models your game on players? Like you look at someone on TV and think, oh, I'm going to try that, or I'm going to try this, or is your game just your game?
I wouldn't say I played specifically like anyone, but I love to watch Joe Root bat.
Joe Root, who doesn't?
Especially the Ashes that we just had.
Oh, yeah, he's incredible.
Absolutely ridiculous. Some of the things he does.
What did you make of that Ashes? It was great fun. wasn't it? Obviously,
Yeah.
we didn't win, but it was brilliant.
I think it was good for the sport in general.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Everyone.
So were you a Test fan when you were growing up in that sort of Anderson Cook era?
Yeah.
Was it Test for you, or are you more, because you're quite the younger generation now, until 2020s
Yeah.
and things? Where do you sit on that?
I like all of it, to be honest.
Yeah, so
I think you can see the different levels of
Yeah.
how to play each game, and I quite like the test is more about thinking about cricket, and it's more of an actual test.
More of a slow blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, less sort of thrills and entertainment.
Whereas like obviously the 100's going on now.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? At your cup of tea?
Yeah, I could watch it, definitely.
It's decent.
I
Yeah,
don't think
I'm not a
really
huge fan.
I don't know if I'd be good at smashing the balls. but-
Well, luckily we're not playing the 100 in
Exactly.
Australia. Is there a format in Australia you're most looking forward to playing? Because obviously we've got the test matches. Then we'll have some 20 over games and then some
Yeah.
5 over games.
5.
Yeah, is there a format you're particularly most excited
About
about?
a test match.
That's where
I
you're
think that'd be interesting.
That's where your
Yeah.
sort of thoughts are
Yeah.
in a minute, and that's a series opener.
What do you
the test
think?
match. I'm thinking the same.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our boys are the same. I think also because it's the first game.
Yeah.
So getting off to
Yeah,
that start
yeah.
with that big format and then getting shorter as you go
I think
along,
the
it's
pressure will
really-
be highest in the test match.
Yeah, and I would expect, being the first day of the first ever
Yeah.
Ashes, I would suspect the test match is going to be when the crowd that's there is going to be the noisiest.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be as loud the next day unless it gets really close at the end of the series. That's going to be the loudest.
It's
It's
going
going
to
to
be like a
be.
massive crowd then.
I'm not sure, but when I last spoke to Brendan, who's the captain of the WCG team, I think he said they were expecting around sort of 100, 120 people.
That's decent.
Something like that. I'm not going to name names because I think it's up to the Aussies to announce this, but there is a very famous ex-Australian cricketer who will be in the crowd, if that's still the case, unless anything's changed. But I'm not going to say who that is because I'm not sure the Aussies have said it yet. But there will be an ex-test cricketer there, not sort of 1 or 2 tests. We're talking
Yeah,
over 100 tests.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so a serious player will be in the crowd. Does that add a little bit of pressure? No.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about hearing that?
Depends who it is really, but
Yeah, like I say, I'm not gonna. I'll tell you when we stop the recording.
it would always be a good to put on a good display in front of an ex-cricketer.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm not sure if when they said he would be there, I'm not sure if they mean just for the test or for the whole series.
Okay.
So maybe be the whole series,
Yeah.
possibly. I'm not sure.
Nah, that's good. That would be good.
Which will be fine. Again, it's another experience, and that's what's great
Yeah.
about it. So going back for you, you've been playing for Merstham since you were about 7, so it
Yeah.
has been the club of your life.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your dad got you into it. I was doing a little poking around the Merstham website, having a dig around with you.
Don't say this because he's going to listen to this.
I did notice another Maplesden on there. Is your dad Neil by any
He
chance?
is, yeah.
That is your dad, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw another Maplesden on the list and wondered if that was a
Yeah,
relation, and he's got a good record.
He's up there for the club, isn't he?
Yeah, he's right. I was looking at the, I think it was your time, is it runs list? Was he a batsman? Yeah, it was on the bowlers list.
Keeper batsman.
Keeper batsman, yeah. I was looking through the runs list, and you're not a million miles away.
I haven't played much though recently because I've been at uni.
Is there going to be some gloating if you go past him? Does he still play?
No.
Oh, so he's not. So you've got a clean run at this.
But he played before playing cricket.
Oh, so there's a lot of his stuff won't be on there.
So I don't think.
Okay.
there'll
Are
always
you
be
letting him
one.
have that as a claim?
Awesome.
And I looked at your record. We'll just pull it up here because it's very, very good.
There's a few good ones and then quite a few.
Yeah. So you've played 117 games at this point.
Does that include Colts?
I think it does. Yeah. This is just what's under everything.
Yeah.
Over 1,100, almost 1,200 runs.
Yeah.
And you bat sort of middle order, don't you? Middle to lower order. You play as an all-rounder.
Yeah.
So that haul of runs is not bad from what number do you normally bat? Say 6, 7?
6. When I was younger, I was a bit lower down.
Yeah, so sort of worked your way up.
A little bit.
450s, 2 of which are in the 90s.
Yeah.
I saw a 92 not out,
Yeah.
so you were maybe unlucky to run out of time in that one.
Yeah.
But I did see a 96, and we're going to talk about this because it looks on paper, obviously I don't know anything about the game, I wasn't there, I think it was from about 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I looked at the scorecard, and you were chasing, I think, something like 180,
Yeah.
190.
Yeah.
And from what I could tell from the scorecard, the top 4 all sort of got nothing. You must have been about 50 for 4 -ish.
Yeah.
And then you come in and take over.
Yeah.
And with about another 130 odd needed, you get 96 of them and get out, I think, only a handful of runs
Yeah,
left
yeah.
at the end.
Just for the end.
How did you get out? Do you remember?
Caught mid off.
Because it says caught, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like a nick behind.
No.
Was it did you know you were on 96?
Yeah.
Was there a board on the
Sure.
ground? Yeah. So,
Something.
what happened?
I don't know. I just see sometimes in cricket you just sort of like
So is it just instinct?
you don't
Just
think
one of
about
them.
it. You just
Because I have to say,
quite catch it.
I have one score in the 90s as well. I have a 96 as well.
Devastating.
And I got caught on the square leg boundary having a massive point. And I knew I was on 96 and I went for the money shot.
Yeah.
Straight up in the air, called square leg.
I kind of did say I went for the money shot.
It almost feels worse than a duck. All that hard work. And it just goes on your record as a 50. I could have just got 50 and got out.
Exactly.
But how do you reflect on that? Because no ton for you yet. But do you see yourself as a batsman who wants to make tons, or are you happy just to even get the 90s?
Bit of both. Because they don't come around often, do they?
No, and it is a great thing to get that.
I'm waiting for that first time. I feel like it will come eventually.
Will it come in the backyard?
Who knows? Hopefully.
That would be an amazing time, wouldn't it? So 96 there, and like I say, another 90 odd. The 92 not out I didn't look into. What was that? Was that a run chase as well, or did you just run out?
Yeah, that was in T20.
Oh, T20 was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was under 17s in the cup. We still lost though.
Still lost?
Yeah.
Oh,
we were chasing like
God.
170. I opened the batting 92 not out at the end. I was slugging it about, but I still didn't get anywhere near.
Oh, well, still, for a 2020, 92 is a damn good effort, to be fair. And I was having a look at the bowling. Now, you've played, like we said, 100 odd games, but you haven't bowled extensively in all of them. So did you start as a batter? You mentioned you started in the low, like...
I started as a bowler.
So if you bowl less as you've got older?
Yeah,
so you've sort of gone the other way. Because I was looking at it, you've only bowled about 400 overs, which is not a huge amount, but in that time, the numbers are pretty wild. And almost say you should be bowling a lot more, really. So almost 100 wickets. The strike rate is very impressive. You take a wicket sort of, I think about every 5 overs, which is pretty good for that level. Decent average, sort of mid-20s. No 5-wicket hauls yet, but I did see a best of 4 for 14.
I haven't 5-wicket haul, but that is at school.
So it's not on here. Okay.
But yeah, on club level.
So what's going on with these numbers? Because like I say, these numbers would indicate you should be bowling a lot more.
I don't know.
Was that your choice? Have you been trying?
Yeah, because I prefer batting a lot more.
So would you see yourself as a batting all-rounder?
Yeah. It depends really, because sometimes I feel more confident with the ball, sometimes I feel more confident with the bat. That sort of thing.
I guess that's a good thing about being an all-rounder. If one's not working, because I'm just an opening bat. If my batting isn't working, I've got nothing. And then
you just feel
one of them where you turn up, win the toss, bat first, you're out in the first 5 minutes. You then got an 8-hour day watching everyone else play.
Yeah, exactly. At least my own score runs I can try.
At least you've got sort of both avenues.
Exactly.
But you'd say you prefer the batting?
At the moment, yeah.
That's not always been the case?
No, I'll say up until about 17 I was much more of a bowler, much more preferring bowling.
Well, it's great that you've got obviously both weapons, and we've seen you in the training, seen what you can do, and we are excited to see you in Australia. What do you think your biggest strength is going to be with the ball in Australia? With starting with the ball, what would you say your great skill is, or your great attribute? Without giving too much to the Aussies in case they're watching.
Hopefully moving it around a bit.
So it'll be a swing.
Yeah.
It's more of a swing bowler. What about the batting then? What are we expecting from you? A sort of solid defensive stay in, or more of a crack it? If you've got a 90 and a 20-20, it's going to be a bit of aggression.
Yeah, we don't always pull off work out, does it?
So it's more one of them is if you get in, you're going to get in.
Yeah, but I feel I could test match. I could try and build an innings.
So if we get you in and say we're, I don't know, let's say 50 for 5 or something in the test, can we expect a nice slow 100 based over a couple hours?
I could try.
So it will obviously be a lot of fun. And when it comes to the childhood and all that, did you ever play with your dad, or had you already finished?
No, yeah.
Oh, you had done?
Yeah, for about 4 years. When I was 14, I want to say, I started playing with him.
Okay, so how was that? Because I know people, I've played with people in the past that have played with their parents, and you get a bit of a mixed reaction. Some people enjoy the family side of it, some people really hate it and just wish.
I did enjoy it, because he was the keeper, obviously. And
so he's keeping to you,
I did enjoy it, because...
Has he ever dropped a catch off you?
I don't think he had. But we didn't play together like consistently. It was more.
That's just the old game,
kind of. Yeah. So I don't think he had, but he might have done.
How was it then? Like I say, it's a bit of a mixed reaction you get from people on this. I personally, I've never been in that situation, but I think I would hate it.
No, yeah, because he gives you a bit more stick than
it feels like an extra pressure as well. Because the one thing I have had, my dad wasn't a player. I didn't play with him, but my dad was an umpire. And if you've ever been umpired, if you've ever been given out by your own dad on a dicey LBW, that one causes problems, you know what I mean?
That's arguments on the way home.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's, somebody's walking on the way home, that's a dangerous game. But you quite enjoy it, because you mentioned your dad might be watching this, so you've got to be careful how you frame it.
No,
So will he be sort of your biggest fan in Australia? Does he know much about the backyard? Is that something he'll be watching?
I've shown him a few videos, so he probably will, as long as he's awake, because obviously...
Well, obviously live might be difficult
Yeah,
because of the time difference, but there will be highlights videos going up afterwards.
He'll probably scroll through to when I'm batting or when I'm bowling.
Yeah, so obviously keep an eye on it. And how is the rest of your family? Is there any other cricket fans in the family, or is it just you and your dad kind of thing?
Yeah, my mum, my uncles, they all love cricket.
So it is quite a big sort of thing.
Yeah, everyone likes cricket in my family.
So are they all tuned in? We're going to have everyone sort of Friday night sitting around the sort of sofa and watching you on the telly?
I'll probably put a message in when we're about to start, and then probably all...
Which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? And again, how do you feel about that? Would you when you're out there live, would you prefer knowing that they're not watching it?
I don't know. I probably won't even think about that if you think about it.
Yeah, I guess we're not talking about that. Yeah,
they've all seen me play, but...
Yes, obviously your dad's seen you play. Has anyone else seen you play?
Yeah, well, my family come down maybe once a year. My mum,
so it's quite regular. You'll get to
come and watch.
Yeah, which is, and then obviously you get a bit older at Merstham and you sort of start to develop and you go away to uni.
Yeah.
Were you playing any cricket out there?
Yeah, so there's a social cricket team at uni, which is just like more for the drinking, but...
Yeah, so it's
but we sort of just like play local clubs around the area, friendly games.
So it's not an actual uni team,
No, it's just the social side of the uni.
And obviously uni you would have been with Connor Arnold as well, but you didn't meet him at uni, you guys are at school friends.
Yeah, we went to school.
So let's just chat a little bit about him, because he's coming obviously to Australia as well.
Yeah.
He's in the squad, and he's in a sort of even more than yourself, not knowing anyone, because at least you've played a few club games.
Yeah.
Connor didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
When I spoke to him for his podcast, he just jumped at it. He was just like, this is going to be amazing. I can't say no.
Yeah, that's literally the same.
Was that something you discussed with him when you were deciding whether to come or not? Or did you guys sort of guide each other on that?
Sort of, but like it's just the opportunity. You generally can't say no, can you?
Yeah, and Connor told me that were you in the same halls at uni?
No, we weren't.
Because someone in his halls already knew the WCG and was a fan. So I think he was quite pleased with that.
So I feel like a few of them have seen it as well, but not like
properly. Yeah.
But yeah, they all knew what we were talking about until we showed them the video.
Yeah, it is when people see it.
Everyone was so jealous about us getting jobs.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah,
and it
generally
is,
can't say no.
It's one of them things you regret it if you didn't.
Exactly.
You might say
I could be sat at home watching you lot play.
Exactly. I wouldn't. If you might be on TikTok one day and see us.
Yeah, exactly.
Wishing you were a part of it. So the money and the time and the effort that it all takes is pretty worth it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Connor. What kind of character is he? What's your relationship been like with him over the years? How did you get to know him? Obviously, it was at school.
Yeah, at school we were in the same form or house from year 7, but we sort of got close in year 12 because we were doing the same 3 A levels.
What would you be? Was that about 15, 16?
16, yeah. We're doing the same 3 A levels, and then obviously we went to the same uni after that, doing the same degree. So ever since then, we've sort of just got closer and closer.
So is he now like sort of best mate kind of thing? Yeah. So does that help then? Obviously for probably both of you, helps to have someone there that you know really well. Because obviously we'll be as welcoming as we can, and you'll get involved with everybody else. But having someone there that you know inside out,
would
be a big help.
Yeah, exactly. Because then especially like on days where we might want to do different things, we'll probably at least I'll have someone to go with, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and there will be obviously times where we sort of separate off, depending on what people want to do. Which is no bad thing. Obviously, everyone's entitled to enjoy their holiday in different ways. So, how does that dynamic work then? Is Connor seems to me to be the kind of dive in first, think later kind of guy. He's that. When I spoke to him about Australia, it was all about I can't wait, I want to do this and all that. It's all 100 miles an hour. Are you maybe more the chill one?
I don't know. I feel like I'd probably be more that one, but yeah, I feel like I rarely say no to much, but. Why uni is different, isn't it? Because
that's kind of hard for him.
It sometimes takes a bit of convincing to do so, but for this he didn't. So
yeah, and obviously we're so grateful to have you both on board with that. The key question I think the Aussies will be wanting to know, out of you and Connor, which one can keep up with the drinking? Who are the Aussies put?
Definitely me.
Yeah, so we got to put Connor under the table.
Yeah, Connor has a few nights at uni where he just sort of sneaks off home.
Oh, he's a sneaker. Oh, he never mentioned that when I spoke to him.
I bet he didn't mention that.
You can't be doing that in Australia. There's nowhere to sneak off to in Australia.
Exactly.
You can't get back on a plane in the middle of the
We
night.
can't let him.
So we reckon Connor's in trouble for the night out then.
I'm sure you can't do that though in Australia.
Oh,
I'm sure he won't.
He's like,
Yeah.
No, we've got a reputation to
Exactly.
uphold here. We can't- Unless we lose, then we might all sneak off.
We won't lose, it's fine.
You know what I mean? So this is pretty much
Confidence.
nailed on.
Yeah.
So, what's Connor like as a player? Have you ever played cricket with him?
At school we played together, yeah.
So, has he played any games for Merston?
He did at Colts level a bit, but not a lot, maybe a year or two.
So yeah, I think you're obviously the more experienced cricketer out of the two of you. How is he as a player? What are we expecting from him?
He was always a solid batsman, always, from year 7 up. So my dad was the Colts manager for Merston, and obviously he hired and recruited him from watching him play at Fisher, so he wasn't that bad.
Oh, so he was scouted.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a player.
And then he sort of stopped playing when we went to uni, and he hasn't really played since, but I'm sure a few sessions back he'll get it on.
Yeah, and obviously we've had a couple of sessions with both of you already, and I can say this without wanting to sound like I'm sort of, digging for gold or whatever, but we were really impressed with the pair of you, which is obviously, you never know when people haven't played this type of game before. We've had some very, very fine club players come into these training sessions and these games and just dreadful. Just can't bowl the ball, because it's just so different.
No, it's
like top club players coming in and they just look like novices. So we were quite relieved actually.
I just feel like I picked it up fairly well.
Yeah, we were relieved to see how well you and Connor have been getting on so far. You've slipped in nice.
We booked the flights before you'd even seen us bowl a ball.
Yeah, before we knew much about either of you, you were already in the squad, which is quite a weird position to be in, but luckily we've gotten away with it. So, and then obviously we've got the Ashes.
Yeah.
We've also got the first ever Backyard World Cup.
Yeah.
Which is a bit limited on teams. We were hoping to have more teams there, but it looks like it's going to be a little more limited for various reasons. But how are we feeling about that? The potential opportunity to be technically a world champion.
Yeah.
A world champion.
That's crazy.
How does that feel?
That would be great if we can do that. What teams are...
So, at the moment, definitely it's us, New Zealand, Australia. There was talk of some other teams, possibly from South Africa, I think, and some places in Asia, but it doesn't look likely. So it may end up being just a 3-team, potentially 4-team tournament. So it's not going to be a proper sort of massive. But a World Cup is a World Cup, and it's the first ever one, and this is how you start. You're not going to get to having 16 teams until you've started.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always nice to win the first one as well.
Yeah, and also technically, we need to speak to the Aussies about this and see if we're going to start doing rankings, because technically whoever wins that World Cup, I would say has a claim to being the world number 1.
Yeah.
So you could find yourself going from uni to a world number 1 athlete within a few months, which is pretty wild.
Debatable, but...
Well, technically, an international sportsman, world number 1.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Where is your head at with this? What would you, if I said to you we had to win 1, lose 1, would you take the Ashes medal or the World Cup medal?
I think the Ashes. The Ashes got a bit more to it.
I'd say so. Aside from the fact that there's more games in the Ashes as well, and it would just feel so intense.
Yeah, and it's always on their turf as well. It'd always be nice.
Yeah, especially to win it in literally their own backyard.
That'd be perfect.
But obviously we won't complain. If we lose the Ashes and we come home with a World Cup medal, I'm not going to complain about that. How important is the silverware to you? Would you consider it a bad trip if we don't win one of those tournaments, or is it more, we're going there, have an amazing time, it'll be a great experience and winning's a bonus? Where are you at with the sort of, how important is winning this?
I'd say it's a bit of both. Obviously the experience itself will be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But you go all the way there, you want to come back with something.
Yeah, we want to find that balance between taking it very, very seriously, but not too seriously that it ruins the trip if we lose. Because it's a long route there for 3 weeks. If we lose the Ashes in the first week, you don't want to spend the next 2 weeks sulking. You want to still enjoy, have a great time and experience.
Yeah.
Have you won anything in cricket before? Will this literally be a first trophy opportunity? I was looking through the Merston website, I couldn't find any league titles or cup wins or anything like that.
Did Connor tell you about the time we were in, I think it was a plate final at school, or a semi-final?
I think he did. Is this the one where he was it like 4 to win and he was in and he got out?
that was probably the closest I've been. And then there was about four people in our school team that were decent with the bat. He was one of them.
He did mention that, and I don't think he's going to be too grateful for bringing it. He did say I think he needed something like 4 or 5 to win, and he got out.
Yeah, he skied one in the air. But that's probably the closest I've been to silverware.
So if we get to the Ashes and we need 4 or 5 to win, and Connor gets out, how close are you going to be to putting a foot through his head?
Pretty close.
That won't happen. We have full faith in Connor. He'll get us over the line.
Yeah, he's learned from his mistakes.
Yeah. He's the man.
Hopefully.
So we've got the Ashes. What else are you sort of most looking forward to? Because you mentioned never been to Australia before. What are you looking to get out of the trip aside from the cricket? What makes a good trip for you? Are you just looking to stay by the pool and chill for 2 weeks, or go out?
A bit of that, but
yeah, I mean, we've got enough time to do literally a bit of everything.
Yeah, like there's so much stuff. Sydney, like sights to see.
Yeah, we'll be out there for so long that we can have boozy days and all that. Get drunk, we can have lazy days at the hotel and do the tourist stuff as well.
Exactly.
It's quite a nice position. Is there anything particularly you're gasping? Have you got anything on the list going, no matter what happens, I'm going to do that while we're there?
See some of the beaches, I reckon.
The beaches, yeah. Because Sydney, there's so much to offer there, and it's such a lovely place.
It should be good weather then as well.
Yeah, that's the only thing we're worried about, because we were just expecting Australian summer is going to be, piping off.
Yeah.
The only thing that worried us was that there was the 2020 World Cup last year, and it was about the same time of year, October, November, and some of the games in Sydney were rained off.
Really?
So that kind of spooked us a little bit. Because it's a lot of money and a lot of time and effort has gone into this.
From here, you think it was Australia.
Yeah, you just think it's just paradise.
Which is what I was expecting,
but we obviously spoke to the Aussies about that, and they almost brushed it off like it wasn't a serious consideration. I think when we asked them, they just said, yeah, it'll be fine. So I don't think they're expecting any problems. But it would be a real pisser if we went out there and everything, all the games were rained off. Draw the Ashes, no World Cup, it's pissing.
That'd be a waste of time. But
That I think would crush me beyond recovery. All that money and time and planning. Because you're quite new to this. Me and Ricky have been planning this for 4 years.
I bet it's been
all of that has been a fucking nightmare.
COVID probably messed that up as well, isn't it?
But I actually think it did us a favour.
Oh, really?
Because we came up with the idea to go in about December 2019, and then we spoke to the Aussies and they said, yeah, come on over and all that. So without any practice, without any idea what we were doing, we just rounded up a group of our mates and booked a flight for October that year. No practice, no training, never played it before. We were just going to go out there and see what happened.
Now you've had 4
In
days.
hindsight, because the pandemic happened in between that, and it all got cancelled. In hindsight, if we'd gone when we were supposed to, we'd have got fucking bullied. I think we would have got battered.
At least you've had.
We'd never played it before. We had a couple of people coming with us who weren't even cricketers and were just coming for a laugh. we would have got our hands pulled down if we'd gone then. So I actually think the break has done us some good. Because we've now got 3 domestic series behind us, a lot of training and practice, and we're a lot smarter. And we've got better players as well. If you look at the
I
team,
can tell by first nets.
well, the team we were supposed to have then, compared to the team we're taking now, is a different world. Like I say, we had a couple of people who weren't even cricketers on the first tour, and the players we've got coming now is a different thing.
Proper good fight then, hopefully.
So what did you make of the standard? Obviously, you've seen us briefly now, had a few sessions. What do you make of our team? Where do you think our sort of strengths and weaknesses are going to be out there? Obviously, you've not had a lot of time to see. But
I think from when I was batting, I was impressed by the control we had.
So you think maybe bowling could be our key weapon?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, so what do you make of the batting though? Is our batting something that worries you? How concerned are we to be about this?
Maybe that's just, I don't know, I wasn't really watching the batting, but when I was batting, it felt like a bit of a challenge.
Yes, and it is, and it will be out there. The Aussies have got some very, very fine cricketers. What have you seen on TikTok? Would you be confident enough naming names? If I said to you who in the Australia team has impressed you?
I wouldn't know names.
You were not
main
confident.
faces. I saw the when they were on the Australian news. That was hilarious.
Brendan's not going to thank us for bringing this one up, but we're going to do it. So, if anyone's not sure what Anthony's talking about, Brendan Scott, who's the captain of New Zealand, and Matt White, the vice captain, they were on a breakfast news show, like an Australian TV show, and they did a full interview, and it was great. They spoke really, really well. They were very eloquent. They spoke really well, confidently. They did fantastic.
Yeah. And
all credit to them. And right at the end, the reporter said to them, "You've got to show us, show us the different, what it is." And Brendan went in the back and got out first ball. I think he nicked off. I don't think he'll thank us for bringing that up, but if you're watching this, Brendan, I will say, myself, Ricky, and everyone else in England pissed ourselves when we saw that. But the only downside will be if we then go out there, if one of us nicks off first ball or gets ball first ball, Brendan will be the first one jiving at us, which is probably fair enough, but it was a good laugh, wasn't it? And we're going to be doing stuff like that too. We've got media appointments and sort of all this kind of stuff. How are you feeling about that? Are you someone who's going to enjoy the media commitments or sort of stay away from it?
I don't mind that. Like sort of interviews at the end of the game.
So if we got, say, I don't know.
Depends what I did in the game personally, but don't want to.
If we have someone like, I don't know, Piers Morgan with his camera at the airport going, Anthony, face one ball for us, you ain't going to stick that one on.
Yeah, that won't be great, but after a good performance, who wouldn't want to go and talk to the media?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We want to go and talk to them after.
Yeah,
we don't want to go there before and start saying we're amazing, we're going to win, and we get turned over and everything.
Exactly.
Because I think the only thing, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this. Me and Ricky were talking and we were saying, obviously we want to win. We're very serious about winning, we're going to win. But like we said, it's not the end of the world. And we're there to have a great time and a great experience. The only thing we really want to avoid is we don't want to get like embarrassed. Like, go out there and just get smashed in every game and have a bit of a non-contest. That's the only thing we competitive
at the minimum.
Yeah, we win or lose, we want to put on a show.
Yeah, exactly.
And we want to. Would you say the same? That's probably fair.
Yeah, I'd say the same, definitely.
We want to put. We don't want to go all the way out there and just fold.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to. So, how will you be? What type of character are you when the pressure's really, really on in a game and with the batter in the field and it's really in that killer moment, Ashes on the line? Are you sort of a shouter, motivator, G them all up, or more just quietly get on your own thing? Where do you sit when it's really tight moments?
A bit of both. Depends on, obviously, by then I'll know you a little bit more, and I'll be very, very familiar with all of you, living with you for 2 weeks as well. So so maybe I'll be a bit more on your toes a bit. Yeah. If there's like someone slacking or something like that.
So you're maybe more of the shouting, not the kind of quiet, do your own thing kind of type.
So depends on the situation though, doesn't it?
Because the one thing we are curious about, we don't really know what we're getting from the Aussies.
Yeah.
We presume, and it's probably sensible to prepare for the idea that we're probably going to get sledged to hell. There's probably going to be 100 Aussies in the pavilion yelling at us, calling us every name. The Aussie boys on the pitch, I'm sure when we meet them off the pitch and do the social stuff. Oh yeah. No, I'm sure off the pitch they'll probably be the nicest bunch of lads in the world and we'll get on with them amazing. But on the pitch they're going to get into us. How do you sit on that? Are you the kind of player who likes to give it back, or do you like to sort of just go into your shell, do your own kind of quiet thing? More the mic and grin, the kind of...
Yeah, a bit of both. Like, if people are giving it to me, and then I hit a nice shot, I'll be buzzing. I'll be buzzing.
So it's kind of speak when spoken to. You keep quiet unless they have a go at you. And then, so you're not going to be back down or cow, because that's what we want. We don't care how good anybody is at cricket. What we want is a team full of players out there who, when the Aussies get pressure on them, are not going to lie down and take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm sure they will. I'd be amazed. If we went out there and it was all love and fairies and everyone being super nice, I'd be amazed.
It'd make it better to watch as well, wouldn't it?
I think most of our team are kind of looking forward to that. Because again, we want the full Ashes experience.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's part of it, you know, when the actual England team goes to Australia, they talk about the crowds and the sledging and all this. It's part of the experience.
That is initially.
And obviously Alex Carey got the flip side of that this year from the England fans, but that's a lot of what Stuart Broad gets in Australia every time. Exactly. That's just part of it, and we kind of want that in a way.
It's good, that's what you got.
So do you think that plays into our hands then? Do you think the Aussies are going to be too focused on giving us lip instead of getting us out?
It could be. Depends how we deal with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if we fold and we fall apart, they're going to keep doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. If we show we can respond.
Which I think we will. We've got some spiky characters in our team that are not going to take kindly to 100 Aussies giving them. But we have got some people in our team who just won't even notice it. Like, again, talking about Jake.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't know Jake that well, but like, he just lives in his own little world. He's not going to listen to anything, so he's not going to care in the slightest. What have you made of that? Like the atmosphere around the team, the different personalities. What have you made of the mentality and the personality of our team from what you've seen of it?
Well, people we obviously are a good bunch of lads, aren't you? We all love that. Well, I'm going to training.
You really are taking a leap of faith on that. If it turns out we're all shitheads, you're in for a rough trip.
But like, you can all have a laugh, can't you? And I think that's
which is that, because that's again, it's first and foremost, it's a holiday. It's not just the cricket trip. We've got to spend a lot of time in each other's pockets. And even if the cricket goes brilliantly, if you're not getting on with people off the pitch, you're still not going to really enjoy it, even if you have a great time on the pitch.
It's good to get on with everyone in it. And then
and the same goes for the Aussies. That's why we're really hoping that we get on really well with them as well. And I'm sure we will with them as well. And in the time we've been speaking to them over video chats and text and things, they've been nothing but fantastic with us. They have been really good. So we think they're going to be a brilliant bunch, hopefully.
They can show us a few decent nights out as well.
That's what we're hoping. So when the Ashes finishes, we have the advantage of the Ashes finishing on a Saturday. Which means, unless it rains, then we might need to use a Sunday as a reserve day. But assuming there's no rain, we finish on a Saturday. Which means that both teams can go out and have some fun on a Saturday night in Sydney without having to worry about anything.
Especially if we win just before that as well.
That will be the real kick.
Hopefully none of them play.
Can you imagine the night if we're going out? We'll go out with the medals on. We will go out with the Aussies. We will have the medals on. That would be something. Ashes within night, especially if it's really close and we won in like the last over.
Something like the Ashes have been this summer.
Something like if we can put on a series anywhere near as entertaining as that, we would say even if we don't win, to put on a series that good would be a result.
That's right.
Because we're trying to grow backyard. What do you see with that? And talking about backyard cricket as a whole, what do you think the future is? Is this for you just kind of, we're going to go on this holiday, have the best time ever, and then you're done with it? Or do you sort of see backyard cricket as something you want to keep?
Yeah, because I think it thrives on TikTok and YouTube, and I think that it generally is.
It does seem to be a real. It's a game that's really suited to social media. It's suited to that.
Things on that will grow quicker, and I think backyard cricket definitely will.
And that's partly why we want this to be such a good series. Again, we don't want to batter them as much as we don't want them to batter us. We don't want to go out there and wipe the floor with them either. Because obviously it'll be fun, but it won't be good for the game almost. Because we're really hoping this series, like we said about the World Cup, I know the Aussies are really big on this. They want to make the World Cup a proper thing.
We can go back there every now and
then. And get more teams involved. They really want to make the World Cup as their real target for growth. And if we can put on a show in this series, it could do so much.
It could do.
And is that something you'd be looking to stay involved in? So when we come back from Australia, we'll have our own domestic series every year going forward. Are you looking to get involved in that?
Because I'm around now as well.
Especially now you've got no uni.
I'll be around in London, so definitely.
So you'll have the opportunity. And they'll be over the winter, so indoors. Obviously, that's the one downside we have to Australia is the weather. We can't really do it. There's no backyards because everyone lives on top of each other here and the weather's shit. So we can't really do a whole lot about it. But even so, I mean, where do you see it then? Is this like...
Well, the more countries you can get involved, the better, isn't it?
Imagine if we were to go back there in 4 years' time and do this again, play an Ashes series and then a World Cup, but the World Cup is, say, 12 teams. Imagine the occasion. Imagine the occasion that would be with all those teams there at the ground, all those games, all that atmosphere.
That would be perfect, wouldn't it?
It's a dream, man. You see the players on TV playing World Cups with big stands on this. We'd almost get a mini version of the same thing, which is...
and it'd be all over the social media.
It'd be all over everything, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Again, that's for the future. For the now, we have a series to win and a World Cup to win. Have you seen anything of the New Zealanders?
I haven't, no.
No, because their videos are a bit harder to find. They don't film so many. And they did play a series in Australia about 4 years ago.
I think I might have seen that.
That was, I could be wrong, but I think that series is the Aussies' most viewed videos. I think that's the ones that most people, I think they're the ones that most people have seen. They went out there and they got beat. The Aussies were, well, they played well, but the Aussies, you could tell the Aussies have been doing it for a lot longer and have more experience. And New Zealand, I think, play under slightly different rules, so the rules in the Aussie games come through them a bit as well. And Australia won comfortably. But we think New Zealand's team this time around won't have too many of the same players in it. And again, I'm not going to say the name because it's up to New Zealand to announce this, but there is an ex-Test cricketer in New Zealand's squad.
Really?
So I'll tell you who it is off camera when we're done. I'm not going to say who it is yet in case Kiwis haven't announced it. But theoretically, what would you make of that? We're going to be playing a World Cup against an ex-player who's actually played in a real World Cup. So that's going to be quite surreal.
Well, whoever bowls him out will be...
there's going to be some drama in whoever that is.
But yeah, that's amazing.
Which really shows how popular this kind of thing can be. Like I say, we've got an ex-Aussie legend potentially watching the Ashes. We've got an ex-Kiwi international playing.
We need to get one of the England boys down.
Yeah, that's what we need to find a ringer. No, I tell you what, Stuart Broad's retired. What chance we get on the plane? If you're watching this Stuart Broad, and I assume you are, get yourself on the plane. We'll see you in November.
Yeah.
That'd be something. Can you imagine if we turn up with Stuart Broad in the team and still lost?
He's been on the punditry as well recently. You could get him.
Yeah, if nothing, actually, do you know what, if you are watching this, Brody, don't come and play. You can do our videos afterwards, right? Do the commentary.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that? Because obviously that is something we are considering when we make the videos. When we come back from Australia, we'll be making obviously highlights videos, things like this. All the videos will be going up, and the Aussies will do as well.
Yeah.
We're thinking of getting more people involved in ours, maybe getting some different people on the commentary, or maybe getting people to do like tactical bits or little things. Is that something you'd want to? Is that something you'd want to do? Would you want to be involved in the video? In a quick capacity of like doing a little bit of analysis or some commentary or something like that.
Especially after playing a bit. When you sort of know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because and obviously doing the Ashes videos, you'll have been involved in it, and you'll know what the atmosphere was like, what it was all like, and all this.
Yeah.
So, is there a media future? Is there a Stuart Broad career trajectory for you?
A long career and then cut it and then just analyse the games after that.
Who knows? Who knows?
Especially if it picks up, you can't say no to that, can you?
Oh mate, I'm really hoping this helps. And the Aussies, I think, are expecting this to be their biggest series yet, which I think is natural. Getting Ashes being the first one.
First time England have been over there.
And the great thing for me, the thing that I'm really proud of with this series is not necessarily that we're going out there to play an Ashes series, is that we're going out there to play the first.
The first,
Because there's only ever one first. And other teams might go and play the WCG from Britain, other teams from different countries might go out there and do their own thing, but there's only ever going to be one first Ashes series and one first World Cup. And we're in both of them. And that will always be there. Even if a better England team than us goes back there and has a better sort of time with it or whatever, we'll always have been the first ones to do it.
It's history, man.
And when you think about what goes into this, I mean, thousands of pounds between us. We calculated it, between all 10 of us, we've spent over £20,000 on this trip. Probably the same amount of hours in terms of organising.
And we haven't even had to prepare any pictures or anything.
Yeah, and that's, we're not the ones who have to sort out the picture and cameras and all that. Otherwise it could have been even more. And it's just so much invested in this. And just being there in itself is such an achievement.
Yeah.
Just because to get 10 people.
I feel like a stroke of luck, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
for me especially.
This is why we were so grateful that you and Connor stepped in, because
all the hard work,
to get 10 people who all can get 3 weeks off work at the same time, all have thousands of pounds kicking around, all care about cricket, are all interested in backyard cricket, all want to come and play, all want to book the flights, the accommodation, the time, the spending money, sacrifices with your families, people not being able to go on holiday with their partners and things, or families, quieter Christmases because you've got to save money, all the sacrifices that go into it, not seeing your mates to save up. Just being there is an achievement in itself. And we are grateful to every player, including you and Connor and everyone else who's coming, because it is such a wonderful thing just to be going. Which is, how is there anything you're worried about coming off of that? Is there anything that you're kind of, or nervous? You mentioned a bit of nerves earlier. Is there anything off the pitch that you're worried about, or anything on the pitch that sort of scares you a little bit? What's sort of the negatives of the trip?
I'm fairly decent at travelling, I feel like.
Are you a good flyer?
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about that. So.
Yeah, because obviously that's the downside. The downside to this series is that it's a long time.
It's a long flight.
We have 13. We've got a 13-hour flight, then a 4-hour layover, then an 8-hour flight. It's a lot.
That is a lot.
And then we land on the Tuesday. The Ashes starts on the Friday. So even jet lag.
Do we get like a bit of preparing on their pitch?
Not necessarily on their pitch. We have got a training session, but it'll be at a different venue, and that's on the Wednesday. It's the day after we land. So, the travel times haven't really helped us with this. So we're kind of hoping we're not going into the Ashes jet lag. That would be.
If we're waking up just before the start, or
that's the problem.
That could be an issue.
If we're starting, I don't know what time the Ashes is going to be, but if we start the test at say 10 in the morning and nobody's got to sleep till 5, it's just not going to be great.
Exactly.
But where do you see it with that? I mean, is there anything that worries you? Anything that you've sort of got your eye on, and we're not sure about that?
Not really, to be honest. I'm just buzzing to be there. What can you be worried about?
That is the spirit. Yeah, what is that? I mean, at the end of the day,
on holiday, playing a load of cricket, online. What is there to be worried about?
what more could you want? The one thing we would like to see from you, and Ricky won't forgive me if I don't nag you about this, is there any danger we can get you involved in some of mine and Ricky's club teams this summer? Is there any chance we can get you in?
I was actually going to ask you that.
Because I think Ricky spoke to you a few months back and you said, yeah, I'll play for your team this summer, get to know everyone, get you in. At this point of filming this, we've only got about 5 games left and he hasn't played one yet. Where have you been?
There's a lot of league cricket going on at Mercy, Saturday and Sunday. So, but Sunday's finished now, so any Sunday games you've got,
well, we've got about 5 left.
I'm available.
I will let us give are you in our group chat? This is probably not a conversation for the camera.
No, but I from now on I should be available Sundays at least.
So we'll be keeping an eye on you.
Yeah. Get Connor involved as well.
And obviously the main thing with that is it'll help you get to know people.
Yeah.
And even people who are not coming to Australia will still maybe be involved in domestic series afterwards and things like this. So it'll really help.
I'll be up for that.
Yeah, so how are you feeling about your club cricket at the minute? How's your season been? Are you going to be going into Australia in a nice little run of form?
So at uni, obviously we're playing friendly games, but I was playing pretty well. Came back playing some league cricket, not quite gone as well. But there's still a bit of time.
Saving it for
the
Ashes is where it's at.
The Nets is
do you know what? I'm not surprised by that in a way because a lot of us have found that since we started really practicing for Australia, because it's so different to club cricket and you need to play it in a different way, it's kind of messed with our techniques in club cricket a little bit.
It's completely different.
There's a few of us who are not going to Australia in like peak form in club cricket because the backyard stuff has messed with the.
That's another thing. We can't really practice.
Yeah, so obviously the World Cup that follows. How would it feel? Would you almost prefer in a way to go out early in the World Cup or lose in the final? What would be worse for you, going out losing every game in the groups or getting to the final and losing in the last over? what would be the worst then?
I think you want to be in the final, don't you?
Yeah, you want to,
but losing it in the final.
But then, that could be crashing.
It's tough. But maybe runners up in the first ever World Cup backyard would
It's not a terrible result.
It would be the end of the world.
It's not a terrible result. The first ever. It almost sounds mad to say a World Cup. And again, it's not. It's only 3 teams, potentially 4 teams, but it's a World Cup.
Yeah.
A World Cup.
World Cup.
How many people get to play in World Cups? Exactly. I know it's not the cricket World Cup, but it's better. And an Ashes series as well. I mean,
we've already won the normal cricket World Cup.
Yeah, we've got the real one, but we've completed it. So that was
we got to win the backyard.
Although we are out there during the actual World Cup. We are out there during, and I'm not sure what the difference between Australia and India time zones is, so I don't know how much we'll see of the real World Cup. But will that be something you'll be trying to watch while we're out there, or would you rather just focus on it all day, forget about that kind of?
Probably not. I reckon you'd keep an eye on it, wouldn't you? But maybe not watch.
What would you prefer? England to win the real World Cup? I think that's a straightforward one.
If any of us don't say that, I mean that's wrong.
Yeah, if anyone on our team would rather lose and see the real England win, I'd be fuming at it. I think the Aussies would say the same, to be honest. So we'll close up then. We'll just start with, obviously, we'll give you a little chance here to sort of shout some people out. So you mentioned family, your dad's obviously been very important to you over the years. And we mentioned with this trip, a lot of people have made sacrifices in terms of not being able to go on holidays and not being able to just go to the pub with your mates because you've got to save money. Is there anybody you want to shout out here who's really helped you make this happen? This is your sort of chance to say anything you want to say.
Well, you and Ricky especially sort of sorted this all out for us, haven't you, really? And I've just given you the money. That's pretty much it in terms of the training.
I'll be honest with you, when we've done these podcasts so far, I asked that question to everyone. And no, see, this is where you're going to look bad if you say your dad's watching this, because we give this opportunity and everyone so far has said, yeah, I really want to thank my missus, or I want to thank my mum, I want to thank my family for understanding, I really want to thank my mum and dad. You've turned around and gone, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So if you're watching Anthony's mum and dad, you've done nothing to do with this and he doesn't care about you. Do you want to try that again and say thank you mum and dad?
Thanks mum and dad. You've sorted me out cricket-wise the whole time.
No, that was smooth as well. Absolutely nailed it. No, it is because obviously we respect the fact that everyone's made sacrifices in different parts of their lives to be here, and it is going to be an amazing trip, and we want to do everyone proud. And also the good news is, recently announced, we have a sponsor.
Do we?
Which is fantastic.
The one that's on Instagram?
Yeah, Telsa Media.
Yeah.
And we want to say a big thank you to them as well, because their support has been vital in getting this trip off the ground, and they've been amazing for us.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been confirmed until recently. How do we feel about that? We are
sponsored.
It gives us a bit of a legitimacy, because it's not just 10 random blokes from the pub who've put their own money in to go and do this. We got a sponsor who believes in this and is engaged in what we're doing, and they're brilliant. Telsa Media, like I say, the managing director's name is Jason, and he's been fantastic with us.
I think that's a good thing, though. Like, even for them, I think, why wouldn't you invest in it? It's only surely it's only going to get better.
That's the plan, and they've been fantastic. So that's quite an exciting new development, and we are hoping, nothing is confirmed yet, but I will say that we are in talks at the minute of getting our own venue over here. Which, if we could pull that,
and we get them over here,
that's the next level. If we can get them back, because we don't really want this Ashes series to be a one and done. It might be, if it works out that way. It might be that this is the only one we do, and that would be a shame. But at least we'll always have that experience. But we don't want it to be a one and done. We want to make this semi-regular, and we want to get them over here. And there's tentative talks about the venue. How would that be? If we had our own venue, that takes us to another level.
Well, we could get even national teams, just get it growing as well.
We could get anybody over here. Take us on. Anyone's watching this, bring it on. Get over it. Come on.
Challenge us, mate.
We'll wipe the floor with the Aussies. And anyone else who's watching, get over it. But as for the future, obviously, for the now, we know where we stand. The Ashes is in a few months, the World Cup follows it. You are on the plane, selected, confirmed and booked. Anthony Maplesden is joining us for the Ashes. And we're going to finish, as we always finish. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, really appreciate your time tonight. As ever, we're going to finish by saying, have you got a final message for the Aussies? Is there anything you want to say to them if they're watching this before we come? This is your chance. This is Anthony Maplesden to the WCG.
I don't want to see any of that cheating that you got. You got used to, and I'm going to cry on the telly.
Oh no, he said the C word.
And we're going to batter you, I reckon. So.
Well, that's a very confident message.
You got to be confident.
So the Aussies are all cheats and we're going to batter them. That's the take away. And this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having you on here again. And join us next time on Backyard Cricket England when we'll have our latest player announcement and we'll have a full extended interview with that player and any other players that are joining us as well. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and remember to look out for the Ashes series from November onwards this year. This has been Backyard Cricket England, and we'll see you next time.